What's going on, everybody? We are back with another episode here on the channel. Guys, today I want to talk to you about something that seems to be a common theme from a lot of the messages I'm getting from a lot of you guys. It's been super great, and I've connected with a ton of you that are sharing your 2021 golf goals with me. And one thing I've noticed, it's a pretty big commonality across the board. A lot of you are sitting in the 10 to 15 handicap range and are looking to bring it to single digits in 2021. So I thought I'd make a video kind of outlining some strategy and some tips on how to do that and how I did it, because it's not rocket science. It's totally possible. Just a couple tweaks and you can get there no problem. So today I'm going to take you through that. Here we go. So the first major thing on the road to a single digit handicap is you want to start adjusting your strategy to be more conducive to scoring and eliminate double bogeys. You're trying to eliminate unnecessary double bogeys at all costs. What I found when I started playing with a lot of single digit handicappers and what I learned from playing with them, they were a lot smarter with plotting their way around the course than I was when I was a 10 handicap. Keep that in mind as you listen to these tips. Our big philosophies are we're trying to use just a little more brain power and a little more awareness, take some emotion out of our game so we can get better scores. So tip number one is commit to one shot shape. You don't want to be hitting a draw and a fade. The reason for that is you're more likely to get a double cross during your round if you're trying to hit both shots. This way you can build a repeatable swing. If you're only going one way, you build something that's repeatable, something that you're very confident in. And guys, I've played a bajillion rounds this year and I can basically hit a cut into anything. There are very, very rare circumstances where a draw is actually required. So you don't need to go both ways. A lot of pros don't go both ways. And the really, really good ones, if you look at like Dustin Johnson, he said multiple times in interviews, he does not try and turn the ball over and hit a draw at all costs. He is fade all day. And the reason for that is what it helps you do is mitigate your misses. It helps you plot your way around the course a lot more strategically, which is going to come up in the following points. And goes back to confidence and being able to feel like you are in command of your game when you're on the tee, which is so, so important. So tip number two I want to talk about is strategy off the tee. Now, behind me, we have a 300-yard par 4. Now, this par 4 is super tight. I think the max width is probably 45 yards between the trees, and the green's tucked all the way at the back there. Now, when I play rounds here and I see guys in the 10 to 15 handicap range, they're pulling driver and trying to hit some Hail Mary bomb out there with no control. And then most of the time they're frustrated because they're going to yank it and go into the opposing fairway and have a brutal shot over those trees back in, or they're going to push it right and then they're either totally in the trees or they're on the other fairway and you don't have a shot. So in this case, if it's 300 yards, right? I'm sure we all have a club in our bag that goes 180, 190, 200 that we can control. In my case, it's just a punch 5 iron. If I have a punch 5 iron right here, I can control that all day because I have my stock fade that I can go to. I'm just going to hit a nice punch 5 iron down here. That'll leave me with about 120 in max to the pin. And now I'm stress-free golf. I watched a ton of Golf Sidekick when I was first starting all this, and I learned a lot of these concepts from him about just taking the ego out of your game. And he was a big influence on me when it comes to this kind of strategy, and it works. There's no need to hit driver here unless you are money with your driver and you're having one of those days. Then sure, give it a shot. Or you're feeling really, really good with your short game and you know you can take it out of trouble if you need be. But most of the time when you're grinding over that score and you're nervous because you're trying to break a plateau you haven't hit before, just get the ball in play and put yourself with a pitching wedge in hand into the green. There's nothing wrong with that. So here's where we ended up. I got 110 left to the pin. Easy breezy. That kind of course strategy off the tee was pretty much an automatic break 80 game changer for me when I implemented it. You'll be surprised at how much better you play and how much better you are mentally when you just put your tee shots in play. There's nothing worse than when you're hitting stuff out of bounds. It just derails you. So put the ball in play, get yourself moving, get yourself some momentum, and build that confidence throughout your round, and you'll just immediately start shaving strokes off your game. Now that we've covered off the tee strategy, the next strategy is hitting into greens. Now, the biggest thing I see with high handicappers is just taking the wrong club because they don't actually know their true distances of what their clubs fly. And so typically they actually take not enough club and are much shorter of their target. So important. First thing you gotta do is know all the yardages for each club in your bag so that you can properly make these course management decisions. Now, to take this to the course, I've got a green behind me. I got 165 to the pin. There's water in front, then I got about 10 yards of rough, then 10 yards to where the pin is. So 20-yard gap to cover the water, and then 165 gets me right to the pin. There's a ton of green behind the pin. Now, in the winter, my 8-iron goes 165 yards when I hit it like absolute money. My 7-iron goes about 180. So what I'm actually gonna do here is hit a 7-iron that's not as cooked because I don't wanna have to swing out of my shoes and compromise my control. So I'm actually gonna take one club up, swing a lot smoother, and if I'm a little bit past the pin, that's totally fine. I'd rather have that putt than swing out of my shoes on an 8-iron and lose control and then not know if I'm gonna be where I want on the green and or hit a terrible shot and end up in one of the hazards. All right, so that's where we ended up. Got about 12-footer, maybe less. Not bad, swung a little too hard at that, but you get the point. I have a lot of green here to work with, so I'd rather use this and then not be short and challenge the hazard. I see a lot of high handicap players just not taking enough club and are now bringing the dangers of the hazard into play and not using how much green you have available to your advantage. So my next tip is do not try and be a hero out of the trees. The amount of times I see guys waste strokes here is just incredible, okay? So here we've got a shot. A tee shot has landed here, okay? Let's just say. So now we have two options. And we could be a hero and try and squeeze it through this little gap, hit a little stinger, and go right towards the pin and try and advance the ball that way. Or we have a wide open gap right here where we could just pitch it out, cause zero harm, and now we have an opportunity to try and hit a wedge close and still make par, and at worst case, we're making bogey. Now, majority of the time, I see high handicappers, and myself included at the time when I was there, I would try and be a hero and think I'm Zach Radford and hit a stinger through here and absolutely hit one of these trees, and it would ricochet either way backwards, way over there, or somewhere where now I'm lucky to make bogey, I'm probably gonna make a double. So the quickest way to just avoid any unnecessary strokes, just pitch it out to the fairway. All the best players I played with that I learned from and helped me grind down my handicap all did this. None of them were trying to be a hero out of the trees. They just pitched it out, took their medicine, move on. And the last tip I want to leave you with on how to grind down your handicap is just some short game IQ stuff to keep your game tight around here so that you're not giving up any unnecessary strokes. So first thing is when you're in this kind of shortcut fringe. Now, if I'm this close to the fringe where the ball's basically right here, you know, this is pretty much going to be a putter all day. It's only until maybe I get to about, I don't know, 3-4 feet back that I start to evaluate if the putter should be the play, and that's more so just to judge. But if I'm gonna go, the further back I go, then I'll just use a lower lofted club like a 52-degree wedge or a pitching wedge to get the ball rolling toward the hole. At no point should you pull out your 60-degree wedge and try and be Phil Mickelson here. I see too many guys, and myself included when I was there, trying to hit the 60-degree high spin shot to the pin to try and stick it tight. That is such a low percentage shot when you're in that handicap range that it's just gonna cause you more harm than any benefit. So when you're around the greens, kind of in this general area, I always opt for a lower lofted club, get the ball rolling, and try and hit something that's just gonna kind of use the natural contours of the green and get it close to the hole. And you want to try and get it within a 3-foot radius of the hole, give yourself a short putt, and get out of there. And so the last piece of short game advice is lag putts. Now, this is a tough shot for anybody because you now have to kind of get the speed of the putt correct to get it close to the hole. Where I see guys mess up here is they're trying to make the putt. I think the make rate on the PGA Tour for a 30-footer is like 7%. So even the best in the world are not making this putt very often, if at all. Now, what your goal should be is to just get the ball within a 3-foot radius of the hole. 3-footers are much easier to make. So when I have this putt, I am not trying to make the putt. I'm just trying to get it close. I'm trying to gauge my speed so that I give it a good stroke, get it to the hole, read the breaks correctly, but I am in no way trying to hammer this ball to think I can make that putt, because statistically it's just not there. And the last thing I want to do is try and go for it, be too aggressive, miss, and now I got a 4 or 5 or 6 or even 7-footer coming back just because I thought I could make a 30-footer. It just doesn't make sense. And so the final thing when it comes to putts is take your time to line up and properly go through your routine on your short putts. The amount of times I see guys just blow simple 3 to 5 footers simply because they're rushing, not going through their pre-shot routine, not giving it the time, not properly lining it up, not caring. You're gonna just light strokes on fire. So why do that? If you're trying to really grind down your score, take the proper time to look at that putt, read it, breathe, go through your routine, and then give it a good roll. The amount of times I see that completely blown is just unnecessary. And I've done that myself. I learned that the hard way when I started playing tournaments, when you realize how much 3-footers can really make a difference in your score. And just by making a couple extra of those and not 3-putting can change your whole day. So to sum it all up, main thing I want you to take away from these tips is just to take a lot of your ego out of your game and just play a lot more sensible golf. As soon as you start to play with just a little more golf IQ, implementing some of these tips, your scores will drop like this. And trust me, it gets way more fun to play when you can hit shots in a more constructive manner. All those hero shots you're trying to hit to give you that rush don't compare to actually putting up great scores. And I think that's something that's totally achievable by implementing these steps. And I know for a fact it is, because this is exactly what I did to get my handicap from double digits down to the single digits. Anyway, hope these tips help you grind and get your handicap down to where you want it this year. I want all of you to just absolutely smash your 2021 golf goals. So hopefully these help you guys achieve that, because that would be so awesome. But anyway, I gotta get back to practicing because I got my 2021 golf goals that I gotta go completely smash right now. So hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Join me on my journey, and I will catch you on the next one.